Hello, my name is Mihaila Lukic and I'm a first year PhD student studying language and communication. Specifically, I am looking at the language of investigative interviews of US police officers involved in fatal shootings. I've chosen this specific topic and context because there have been no academic studies so far on the discourse of these types of interviews. Also, the data set that I was able to obtain mainly were these interviews of police officers involved in fatal shootings. And thirdly, there are currently very low levels of confidence in the police in the US, and I'm hoping that my study will help to increase levels of transparency when it comes to the investigation process in these incidents. So I'm focusing on narrative because police interviews are fundamentally about determining what happened. So investigators need to determine what happened so that they can decide whether or not to press charges, and if so, which charges to press. And also they have a high awareness of overhearing audiences in any future court cases where the prosecution and defense lawyers may use either the transcript or the video itself of these interviews to support their version of events. So again, it's about the story of what happened. There is a connection between narrative and identity. When so in these cases, the defense will try to prove that the officer's actions were objectively reasonable. This means that any other police officer in their position would have acted in the same way. So this means that this objective reasonableness is not only about the actions, but also about the police officer's thoughts and beliefs. And these clearly relate to their character, which is another way of saying identity. And this is why I'm interested in looking at both narrative and identity. So I will be employing Chris Heffer's narrative navigation model that includes character navigation, narration itself, and emplotment. And there's a little more about each of these three in my poster. So I will be analysing the discourse of 7 interviews. So I'll transcribe these, and then I'll employ thematic analysis to explore what is said. And then I will take sections, so short extracts, and analyse them in more depth using pragmatics to look at how narrative and identity are co-constructed by the participants in these interviews. Here are my references, and I've put my email address down at the bottom if you'd like to ask me any questions or send any comments. Thank you for listening.